Hey, what's up, Zoners? Tonight we're going to be drinking and talking about all the latest fantasy football news. We're also going to be going over our starts of the week, and then we're going to go over our Thursday night takeaways, what we got from the last night's Thursday night football game, and also we're going to be going over what we got right and what we got wrong in our Thursday night start sit. If that sounds interesting to you, hold on for 7 seconds.
You can do it!
Hey, what's up, Zoners? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, and Jason, the lucky bastard Ethan Wold, coming at you live from the West Coast. And this is a Fantasy RZ. Today's episode, Beer Time Breakdown. Jason, Beer Time Breakdown.
Beer time break.
I'm like 3 beers deep. I have not eaten, so it's hitting me hard. Jason, today's episode, we just went through it in the intro that you just saw. But before we get into everything, would you please tell the public how they can help this show?
Yeah, if you guys made it this far, if you guys could hit the subscribe, press the like, we like the likes, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about this Thursday night game. That was just kind of mind-boggling to me. It was kind of crazy. If you also like the radio on Spotify at the Fantasy Red Zone. Fantasy Red Zone. I always feel like it should be longer, but the Fantasy Red Zone.
Okay, anyways, that's me crumpling the game and throwing it out. I'm throwing the fucking first game out, Jason, because it pisses me off. And anyways, we'll get into all that later. But talk about first week outliers. There's positives and negatives. This is one of the negatives. Anyways, Jason, what were we going to be doing first? News and brews. I've been drinking. I've been doing other things. Hollywood Brown.
Drinking. I've been doing other things. Okay, cool.
Hollywood Brown was limited during Friday's practice with a hamstring injury. Jason, a reoccurring theme in this, preseason has been hamstring injuries, dude. Like, it was just Keenan Allen, and I think there's one other dude last year. But, oh, my God, is it hitting hard this year? So Hollywood Brown, I am super high on Hollywood Brown in the second half of the year. Whenever Kyler Murray comes back, he will get 10 plus targets per game, especially with that shitty defense and everything else. But still, anyways, he's questionable for game 1. I wouldn't be playing him. How do you feel about that, Jason?
No, you don't need him from the beginning of the year. You need him from the end.
Exactly. That's not why you drafted him. Next up, Cordell Patterson was limited during Friday's practice with a thigh injury. Dude, Cordell Patterson has won people fantasy championships just a couple of years ago. Then he got injured last year. He was well on his way to being a superstar last year. He was kind of a high risk, high reward draft pick, and he was paying off until he got injured. Jason, but he's been dealing with a thigh injury. He's questionable for week 1. He is just another running back in that Bijan Algier backfield that we kind of forget about.
Yeah, and I think it's because what we saw what Tyler Algier did last year. Like, Peterson's kind of getting up there in age. I think they're still going to use him, but I don't, like in certain sets, they call him the Joker. So I was reading this thing, they call him the Joker because they could use him all over the field.
That rhymes, I guess.
I guess.
Wow,
it was like
God.
I didn't get it. Like, I saw it.
Jokers are wild, dude. When you play poker with Tyler. Jokers, 2s, 3s. 7s.
So, I mean, I don't know who all drafted Cordell Patterson. I think he might be somebody that, like, if Algier or Robinson gets injured, keep an eye on.
You could get aided kind in Tyler's poker game. Next up, Christian Watson, Jason, did not practice all week due to a hamstring. We're talking about these hamstrings, man. They're just getting plucked left and right. And is now out week 1 versus against the Bears. I know you mentioned your draft pick. Tell the public.
Well, I have Jalen Reed, and now I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, should I start him? I think in my other league, too, I have Romeo Doubs. I think Romeo Doubs, you got to probably put him in, right? He's already had chemistry over training camp with Jordan Love. That's a lot of news was coming out like, Doubs. Well, Christian Watson.
Doubs. I messed that one up. You were supposed to come in with a riff. I was just applying the bass.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was like a song that you made up or you already knew. So I was like, I'm gonna let it play out.
All I did was say Dubs instead of ass.
I thought you were like, I thought it was some Nate Dogg. I thought you did some Nate Dogg right there.
That Dobbs for me. Shake that Dobbs
for me. Some Dobbs stat.
Woo! Dob step. There you go. That's what I was trying to do. That's what I was trying to do, Jason. I've been drinking. Anyways, moving forward, Darren Waller, cue the fucking bell, Jason. The whatever the Darren Waller injury alert alarm. Mike's probably out. Doesn't even work anymore because it's been pressed so much. The alarm white text is now worn off because the thumb has pressed it way too many times. He was added to Friday's injury report with a hamstring, and so, dude, I have Jalen Hyatt. If Jalen Hyatt is on your waiver wire, go get him. Go get him now. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Did you say he's out, Tyler?
Yeah, Darren Waller's out week 1.
Oh my gosh.
No shit. I'm sorry. I did not say he was out. He was added to the injury report. But if you get hamstring injury on Friday,
and
your name's Darren Waller,
yeah, that's pretty scary.
Next up, Miles Sanders is fully healthy and expected to be the main guy per Reich. Why can't I even think of his first name right now? I used to know him all the time. Frank Reich. I was like, dude, Frank. Yeah, how could you not forget that? That's an awesome name.
Frank the Tank.
Exactly, dude. Anyway, so Miles Sanders was high up on my draft list for a long time. Like, I thought he was going to be a steal along with Kenneth Walker. We'll get into Kenneth Walker in a little bit. And I am very interested. One of the most highly interesting things I think I want to see is how the Panthers offensive line performs. I do not want anything of Miles Sanders if they perform like they did in the preseason, Jason.
Yeah, there was a time where I was like, Miles Sanders is the guy. I want him. I'm aiming for him. Like, Frank Wright wants to use this guy, wants to bring back his catching ability, which is huge. And then I saw some preseason games, and I'm like, the Panthers look awful. The offensive line looks awful. Bryce Young looks like he's 6 years old running back there. And then Miles Sanders gets a groin injury and missed training camp or preseason. I'm like, I don't know. Not a fan of it. Not a fan of him right now, especially where his ADP was.
Jason, next up, Terry McLaurin could be a steal, literally. Not literally. I don't know how that's literally a steal, but it could be a steal. Is fully healthy and expected to be the... Oh, shit. I just read the Sanders thing. Terry McLaurin removed from injury report, and he will play against Arizona. Jason, if I have Terry McLaurin, I am starting his ass. Sam Howell's better than I thought. We do have Jahan Dotson on the other side. He might benefit from Terry McLaurin. I think this is actually better for Jahan Dotson. But, dude, I am starting Terry McLaurin if I have him.
Yeah, especially at the draft pick where you get him. Was it turf toe, right?
Turf toe, thank you. I meant to mention that. Thank you.
Turf toe is kind of a pain to play on. So hopefully he's 110% healthy because when you're especially as a wide, he might be a decoy, especially at the wide receiver position. Like when you're in your stance, you're already like putting pressure on that toe, and you need it to. So,
like Terry McLaurin, dude, we got this Jahan Dotson on the other side. If you're just out there, he's gonna fuck people up. So, just go out there, please. All right, next up, Adam Thielen, Jason. I drafted him in our 10-man league. I thought Adam Thielen in a PPR, which our 10-man league is, would be amazing. He was limited in Friday's practice due to an ankle injury. Now he is questionable for week 1. DJ Shark also, you know what? I'm going to mention this as well. DJ Shark is out week 1 with a hamstring injury, Jason, another hamstring. I think that Adam Thielen's probably going to like make the push and start. But if I can, I'm not starting him.
Yeah, it looks like Hayden Hurst might be a big play for tight end if you need it.
So funny. If I would have saw this news last night, I would have started because I think I told you on Xbox. I was like, maybe I should start Hayden Hurst because I listened to like George Kittle and tight end to you. It's like the tight end camp, and they always mention Hayden Hurst being like an amazing tight end. And it's like, and now he has a rookie quarterback with a shitty offensive line. Like, it makes sense for Hayden Hurst to be a good tight end plays. That's a good Jason. That's good, Jason. Ramondre Stevenson is absent at Friday's practice for unknown reasons, but he is still expected to play week 1. So I'm not expecting much from Ezekiel Elliott. I think that Ramondre Stevenson might be actually a steal for his draft pick. We both targeted him, and we were both okay with the Ezekiel Elliott trade for Ramondre. But it is interesting that he was absent at that practice.
Yeah, I think he had to go get his name change on his driver's license. It was so long they couldn't fit it the first time.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
I'm not too worried about it. I'm more worried about the matchup against the Eagles.
That defensive line is going to be insane, but
Yep.
that's going to be a good game. You know, a lot of people are picking the Patriots now to actually win, just like the people are picking the Steelers. I think these are two upset games, maybe.
I could see the Steelers. I could
Well,
see it
I know, dude. There you go.
in
Okay,
Pittsburgh.
Jason, Zach Taylor says Burrow is expected to start week 1 versus the Browns. So his calf injury was a big concern. We heard Jamar Chase being like, "Hey, I'm cool if he misses the first 5 weeks," and then we're like, "What the fuck, dude? You know, like what's happening
Yeah.
here?" All to come find out, he dropped pretty low in drafts, and I think that the people that drafted him got a great value. And Jason, I know you're pissed off because you missed out on him.
Yeah, I really wanted Joe Burrow. If I couldn't get Lamar Jackson in my draft, missed out on both of them. Yeah, there was actually a sign yesterday that Joe Burrow is completely fine, and is when he got paid the highest quarterback, highest salary ever in the NFL. And I was like, okay, I guess he's okay.
My calf hurts real bad.
Yeah, I don't want to
You
do
know,
training camp, but
week 1 is questionable.
show me the money. I actually have the Browns beating the Bengals in week 1.
Dude, Eric Mangini has that. I was just listening to Colin Cowherd. I do want to shout out the radio shows you should be listening to. Dan Patrick, Rich Eisen, Colin Cowherd. And it's not those assholes that the interviewing people, because they don't know shit about fantasy football. I used to think Rich Eisen did, but man, it's not that deep. He's got so much shit going on. He can't really get deep into like fantasy. But the guests they have on there are amazing. So start watching that. That's where I get a lot of my information that I'm going to be telling you guys. So maybe just come here. Actually, fuck those dudes. Just come here.
Yeah.
All right.
We're the middleman.
George Kittle says he expects to play week 1 with the groin. So that was a big deal. Was his groin injury keeping him out week 1? I was kind of like, because he was a target of mine, and I kind of felt better if he was out week 1 because I drafted Kittle, or I drafted Kelsey in the first round, you know, in our most important league. So I was like,
league.
well, if Kelsey's injured, you know, or if George Kittle doesn't play one, you know, it's a wash. Well, fuck, dude. He is going to play week 1. I think that is actually great. We just talked about this. They have the linebackers to cover this dude, which is concerning. So, but I don't know. It's going to be a defensive game. It's going to be a low-scoring game. 2, you know, not amazing quarterbacks going at each other with great defenses. All pros on each level. I'm not really expecting much, but I'd still start George Kittle if you drafted him. That's where you drafted him.
I'm kind of, I don't know how severe the groin injury is, and because groin injuries are, we already talked about like with Miles Sanders, like, yeah, that groin injury, and that makes me concerned because he made him miss a whole month of it. But George Kittle, if it says he's playing, you play him. So, gotta do what you gotta do.
Jason, Jackson Smith and Jigba, my rookie that I drafted because Addison was gone and Flowers was gone. I actually preferred those two. But then I went back and started watching a bunch of this dude's tape, which I already did, but now I started like watching a lot of this shit. I am pretty good with having JSN. I think that he's going to have an amazing season. And I was worried. He was projected 0 points on all my platforms. Now he's predicted like 6 points. Watch this fool, dude. I think that he could break out in the first fucking game. I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. So anyways, I think that he's going to outperform his ADP, just like Flowers and Addison. Rookie wide receivers these days are worth the risk. They are going to outperform their ADPs. It's just a matter of when. So Jason, I know you don't have much to add about that, but still.
I think Seattle plays the Rams this week.
Fucking good matchup. Kenny Walker, Jason, on top of this, was added to the injury report on Thursday, right? When I'm all watching this shit, I'm like, oh my God, is Kittle going to play? Or no, wait. Is Kelsey going to play? I drafted Kelsey. And then I was like, oh shit. Dude, Walker has a groin injury that he's been dealing with, and then he got it back added on. Hopefully this is like a ploy by the Seahawks, but I'm fucked, dude. So anyway, it sucks. Because I was like, I drafted Walker, I drafted Dobbins, I drafted all this other shit. Oh, Mostert to get me through Kamara. Oh my God!
And you said it is a hamstring.
It's a groin injury that he was already had. That's what's keeping him out of. Yeah, so groins and hamstrings are a bitch, man.
Yeah, that's rough. That sucks. These are number one.
Suck, So I already took him out of my starting lineup. He was projected like 13 points. I think I'm actually starting Jackson Smith and Jigba in the flex. Can't remember. Anyways, next up, Devin A. Chain, a son of 2 Chains or nephew of 2 Chains, fully participated in Thursday practice and is expected to run behind Mostert. You do not want to start him, Jason, but I think that we will get a good idea of how good he is against the Chargers defense.
Yeah, and you're probably going to see like how they're going to use him too.
Yeah, so this is like an information gathering thing. I really wanted A Chain. I think I might have drafted I think I drafted what's his name, Tank Bigsby over A Chain.
Yeah.
But I had Mostert, so that was my reasoning there.
I ended up getting A Chain on my team. He's on my bench.
All right, guys. So that is the news and brews. Now we're going to move on to the starts of the week. Jason's going to have his start of the week. I'm going to have my start of the week. These are one players that just stand out to us that are like mind-blowing, like, let's do this shit. We're going to fucking mash this start play button, and we're going to, it's going to outperform his rank, everything. Great matchup, great player. Jason, who's yours?
Well, this is now more of a 50-50 because I didn't think McLaurin was going to play, but I had Jahan Dotson as my start of the week. And there's something I am trying to do this year, and it's basically start players against the Arizona Cardinals. They're the worst team in the league on both sides of the ball. Tyler, you guys see the clip of their coach. Have you seen it, Jonathan Gannon? When he's like, oh my gosh, he's like talking to the whole team, and he's like trying to motivate them, right? He's trying to like, he was like this. He was like this. He was all, who here rode the bus to the facility today? Raise your hand. And I think there was probably like, a few people, and he's like, doesn't that put a fire in your belly? Doesn't that put a fire in your belly? Don't you want to not have to ride the bus? And everyone's like,
dude.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, let's go and play for this guy. I don't know. It was really sad to see.
I gotta watch this game, man. That sounds amazing.
So now I'm like, even when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray's not there. So I'm like trying to find defenses that go up against the Arizona Cardinals. They don't have much of an offense. They cut Colt McCoy, and they don't have really much of a defense either. And they're playing at Washington. I was thinking McLaurin wasn't going to be there, so Jahan Dotson, who did pretty well in the preseason. I think it was like game 2. He led the Commanders in receiving, and he scored like a 26-yard fancy touchdown against the Browns in the first preseason game. Every touchdown that he scored last year, he had 7 touchdowns. Every touchdown that he scored just looked amazing. Like, it was one of those where it wasn't something easy. Like, he worked for it, spin moves, dives, hurdles. He could be one of those, like, big sleepers this year, too, for where he was going in the draft. I think he's going to still do well, even with McLaurin playing.
So, to me, where they could probably double Jahan Dotson before, and now they can't, I would rather have a turf toe coming back from guy and McLaurin drawing all the attention, leaving the second year player, the speedster, just to go break the zone or take the top off the defense. I'm trying to think of what the words they say on the footballs.
On the footballs. Wilson.
So, anyways, Jason, I think Jahan Dotson. And the big thing this preseason was he was not just doing these big plays. He was doing intermediate routes, short routes, the whole route tree. And that was like when I listened to like these football pros and shit, that's what they were saying was a big deal to them, was that he was only targeted on these like trick plays, big deep plays, like a Deshaun Jackson type of dude before. And now in the preseason, he's being incorporated in all this stuff, which is encouraging because they got a new offensive coordinator with Bieniemy. So I think that's pretty damn good, Jason.
Yeah, he led the Baltimore Ravens game, which was probably the biggest preseason game in history. When the Commanders won, he led the team with 78 reception yards. So, and this is Eric Bieniemy's first game as offensive coordinator, and what is like the perfect opportunity for Eric Bieniemy to look good? Destroy the worst team in the league. Go out there, 35-7. Just lay it on them.
Yeah, I don't see Eric Bieniemy laying up. He wants a head coaching job, so
Oh
if he
yeah.
kills it this year,
Yep.
listen to players now. They're like, you can't coach people like that. You can't yell at them. You gotta like be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell my high school coaches all that shit.
I know.
They're like,
Child abuse.
You are you smiling, Ward?
There's no smiling in baseball. Run a mile.
So you can see it. My start of the week, Jason. Raheem Mostert. Jeff Wilson Jr. is on IR, so that means he can't come back, or the PUP list, so he can't come back for the first 4 weeks. We have Devin A-Chain, nephew of 2 Chains. I don't know why I keep on saying that. I think it's funny. And he's coming off of a shoulder injury, and he's kind of like, they do not want, it's just almost like Gibbs last night. It's not like you're just going to throw a dude out there. They kind of want to reserve. And here we go, dude. Against a good Chargers team offense, they do not want to fuck around. So I could see them, especially pass protection. Like, dude, Raheem Mostert is like a very good pass protection guy. Whereas A-Chain is a rookie, a small rookie at that. So, Jason, last year, Mostert averaged 99.3 yards on 6.0 yards per carry in the 4 games where he had at least 15 yards or 15 carries in that game. So when he gets the ball, dude, like, it doesn't matter. He gets explosive plays. It's insane. If you've been watching Raheem Mostert, you know who he is. He reminds me so much of Gibbs. I was like, dude, if Gibbs is on the Dolphins, this shit would be fucking insanity. But he's not. So yeah, Wilson, all that shit. The Chargers defense, Jason, ranked dead last in EPA allowed per carry last year, which is like expected like something per attempt. So like if say a carry was expected to have like 2 yards gain, they would allow way more than that. So that's a shitty category to have, and that correlates to their yards per carry. They allowed 5.3 yards per carry in 2022. They were also the 6th worst defense in PPR points per game allowed to opposing fantasy running backs. Dude, if you've been watching fantasy football for like, I don't know, for the last at least 5 years, the Chargers cannot fucking stop the run. Like, the thing about the Chargers is they're shitty against tight ends and they're shitty against running backs. So here we go. With Mostert coming in, they're going to be focused so much on Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Also, Jason, on DraftKings, I bet this money. I took it was 59 yards over under rushing for Raheem Mostert. And I was like, over, poof, 59 yards rushing for Raheem Mostert? There's nobody else, dude. There's nobody else here. And they're going against a good team that can actually score the fucking ball. So, and if you know anything about Mike McDaniels, it's like he was the running back head coach or the running back coach for Mike Shanahan forever. Like, his bread and butter is the running game. It sucked last year. He wants to get it going. I just feel like Mostert is set up so well this week, Jason. I am starting him in my flex in our important league. I think he's projected 10 points. Look for him to get way more than that.
Yeah, and you know what the good thing is, too, is like there's a good chance that game's going to be a shootout between the Chargers and the Dolphins, and Mostert could run, and he can also catch the ball. So he could do both. He's a dual threat. He's got the speed. He's the only one there. They might do what Dan Campbell did to Gibbs and just like baby in A-Chain. I really don't know exactly what else they're going to do. And the Chargers, they were 27th in the league last year and giving up 144 yards a game. So this sounds like
the Mostert's over under for rushing and receiving yards was like 79.
I think you got to probably take that. You got to bet on that, right?
I mean, I put $10 on it, and if I win, I get 30.
Yeah.
But then I got to go, like, that's only if you pick like so they have a booster, Jason. So like, if you pick 2 things right, you triple your money. And but the most you can bet on that is $10. This is underdog. But one of the bets is, will Trevor Lawrence get under or over or under 0.5 yards? Like throwing or anything.
Yeah.
So one is just a freebie, and then you just have to pick one more, and then you could triple your money.
Oh.
but it's
Dang.
$10 max. But then say like you pick, but say you have to pick
Still.
if you pick 3 more, you get like 3 times, or you get like 6 times your money, and there's $1,000 minimum. So say you get say all you have to do is get that booster and then 2 right, you can get 6 times your money. Bet $100 and get $600.
That's crazy.
That's why rich people,
you're lucky you get to do that.
Rich people. Jason lives in Washington. He cannot sports gamble. There's a reason why people get rich doing sports gambling. All right, Jason, our Thursday night takeaways. I'm going to be so. What were your first impressions? What did you do? You think this game last night said more about the Lions, or did it say more about the Chiefs?
I really don't know, but if I had to lean away, I think it would say more about the Chiefs. They look like with Kelsey not playing that they just don't know what to do. They don't have that number one guy to stand out if Kelsey's not there. And that's what even I was Tony apparently can't catch the ball. And Sky Moore apparently can't even get any separation. And I'm just like, dude, this is
dude. Jason, how funny is that you say that? And in my takeaways was like when I watch tape, I don't see any separation with Sky Moore. I literally don't. I was watching the preseason tape and it's like, watch every single thing. And I was like, dude, Sky Moore doesn't get any separation.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you going to do with him?
I think for how big of a player Kelsey is, he impacted the Chiefs game and the Lions game. It was crazy to watch. But also, it does look like the Lions defense have improved. I mean, they were like one of the worst teams in the secondary last year, and they went out and got Gardner from the Eagles, and they went and got Sutton from the Steelers in free agency. And they definitely made a big impact in the game. That rookie, what's his name? Like Brian Branch?
Yeah,
you got
Georgia.
that. Yeah, that INT for a touchdown. I mean, that was more just, right place, right time, because that absolutely should have been a catch by Tony.
So remember in Little Giants, like Hot Hands, because you keep on talking about Tony.
Yeah, to get
I felt like he was just like looking at his hands, like, oh my god, like like it was like Hot Hands, like he'd get his hands on it, but like he just couldn't catch it, dude.
Yeah,
I think it's literally Kadarius Hot Hands Tony until further notice.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's more of a concern for the Chiefs, though. I know everyone was like, the Chiefs are not there, or Kelsey's not there, but don't worry about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he still played pretty good, but he definitely had to really work for it. And man, what do he have? Like 30 or 40 rushing yards, Tyler? Oh, you're not even there. Let me see what he led the team with 45 rushing yards. Damn. Well, when you got a quarterback in fantasy football, if he's getting, that's 4 extra points for him. But yeah, I see more concern for the Chiefs. I'm kind of just talking here until Tyler gets back. Defense looked a little bit better on the Lions, though.
Dude, the defense is real, I think, and they played a lot more zone this time, like they were saying. But Jason, I think this says more about the Lions.
Okay.
I mean, that 9-play drive that they had at the end, just to seal the game, that's not a Lions moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, they usually mess up. As soon as I saw, dude, I felt so bad for Marvin Jones, dude. Marvin Jones Jr. I was like, who's Zero, man? This motherfucker. They're like, they said the connection between Goff and Marvin Jones is not there tonight. It's like, yeah, fucking obvious, dude. this guy, he's like, it was so bad. And then he was the one that fumbled the ball. So yeah, I thought that was bad. And it just Jason, I think the smart money, if you're betting on things, if you want to bet on Travis Kelce to be MVP this year, I would put that money on there right now, dude. Because say the Chiefs go on to win a bunch of games, oh my god, dude! I am expecting Travis Kelce to get 14 targets this next game, Jason.
Yeah,
this shit is crazy. But they did look like they were trying to implement a game plan that they just put in 12 minutes before playoff or something like that. It did not look right.
It was a weird game.
Yeah, and then how did you feel about Patrick Mahomes last night?
Patrick Mahomes still did his thing. I was saying when you were gone, like he led the team in rushing with 45 yards. That's 4
See,
additional points.
so Jason, I do want to talk about that because so Jason, like 75% of Patrick Mahomes' game is that, the play broke down, organized football. And that's where Kelsey and him are great because
Yeah.
like he knows where Kelsey's going to be. Kelsey knows where he's going to throw, all that shit. Last night, I noticed that he was tucking and running like way more than way. He is like when I watch Caleb Williams, like that's what where it reminds me of him. Like you think he's going to run out of bounds, and then he throws the ball like downfield. He did not trust anybody last night, dude. Like nobody. So he tucked and run all the time. And so in those backyard situations, I did notice Rashee Rice actually got targeted in a couple of those. But other than that, that was it. So say they lose Travis Kelce, they lose like 75% of that offense, man. Like Travis Kelce is so important because of that organized backyard element.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Jason? Do you agree?
Yeah, that's kind of what makes Patrick Mahomes special too. That's what made Aaron Rodgers so special because he was able to scramble and get yards when plays broke down. Now Aaron Rodgers more have to rely on his arm, but Mahomes is still young enough he could run. He's got wheels still.
So yeah, and then Jason, I want to say Isaiah Pacheco only had 8 carries for 23 yards. But dude, that fool got 4 catches on 4 targets.
That's huge. That's huge.
To me, I was expecting McKinnon to just kill it, right? Get all those 4 targets. I was thinking Pacheco gets no targets. He gets like a goal line carry. Pacheco literally had a goal line carry taken away from him. He took it down to like the 2, and then McKinnon came in and did that bullshit wildcat play. I said start on McKinnon. We'll go over that later. But the Chiefs' offense was so bad it didn't fucking matter, dude. Like it did not matter. It just all sucked. But if I was an Isaiah Pacheco owner, dude, I would be super happy that he looked like he did. I know he got 2.9 yards per carry, but he led in carries. Like he's going to be the lead rusher in this offense as far as, rushing attempts. But man, 4 attempts, Jason, that is huge. Like you just said.
I know. I kept seeing it, and I was just like, dang, now where he's getting drafted at, like, that's huge that a player in that running back dead zone is going to also be catching the ball. But, Tyler, is that just a product because of Kelsey not being there?
I know, because I was saying there's a lot of yards in the middle of the field, but I don't care, dude. Like, literally. McKinnon didn't get shit. He had 2 targets. I don't care, dude. Like, I still think, I think Pacheco is the man right now. I think Pacheco's a good flex. This is his floor. His floor is like 7 points. So, like, I was very happy to get 7 points. Like, the guy I'm going against right now, Ed Feltz. Fuck you, Ed Feltz. JK, LOL. We're all friends, right? But when I'm against you, man, I want to eat your face.
I want to eat you alive. Eat your liver.
And then Jason.
Yeah.
So, anyways, next up, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 6 carries, dude, and he started the game carrying the ball, and I was like, oh shit. But the same shit, Jason. Like you see gaps, and he just does not look like he doesn't look like a good running back. That's all I can say.
Yeah, did he get all his carries in the first quarter? Because I don't really remember seeing him past the first quarter.
Right, so it wasn't much. All right, dude. So I do want to say, Jason, Marquez Valdez-Scantling had like a couple nice catches, and I was like, why are they not targeting him as much? He led in yards for the Chiefs. And then Justin Watson has been their deep threat for like 4 years. Or no, like 3 years, I think. So ever since Hill left, it's like, oh, Justin Watson, did you see him?
So 1 year.
I am literally not interested in any wide receiver, Jason, other than Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. I think that's it.
I mean, I really don't even know for Rashee Rice right now.
The only reason I'm saying Rashee Rice is because he literally was targeted on those backyard plays, and he caught the fucking ball, where all these other dudes didn't catch the fucking ball. And they did say, I do want to say that Patrick Mahomes had an interview afterwards and was saying, like, hey, Kadarius Toney, we didn't have much practice time. We're going to turn this into a positive. All this is going to turn around. If anybody's going to turn around, it's going to be Kadarius Toney. It's not going to be Sky Moore. It's going to be Kadarius Toney. So I would hold on to Kadarius Toney, but if you're a Sky Moore owner, I already talked about this shit, dude, all offseason. You probably overdrafted him. You probably shouldn't have drafted him anyways. And there's other people out there. I would probably I would just probably drop him and pick up somebody else because you're not going to be able to trade him.
There was a lot of experts that were big on Sky Moore, and last night did not do any favors for him. And if anything, last night would have been the night that he excels.
That's what I'm saying about Jarrett McKinnon as well, Jason. Like, so Sky Moore, Jarrett McKinnon, hugely disappointing here. I'm on the verge of. I think I'm going to drop Jarrett McKinnon in our 10-man league. I own Patrick Mahomes in our 10-man league. Like, if after watching Isaiah Pacheco catch 4 balls, I think I'm going to drop him and pick up I'm going to take Bigsby's on that waiver wire. I should have picked him up. That's what I'm going to do.
And our 10, is he? Well, because we only have one less bench
4
spot.
fucking bench spots or some shit, dude.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I know. Okay.
Pretty challenging.
And then Jason, Noah Gray. I want to talk about Noah Gray real fast before we kind of wrap it up. I think that's about it.
Let's hear it.
Noah Gray was the guy I said I would start, and I did start him in our league. He got me 4.5 points, which is fucking amazing. I'm totally okay with that. But he could have had so much more. If they would have treated him like Travis Kelce instead of just having him on end-around blocks and shit, he looked pretty damn good. Like, I think that he would have been, 75% of what Kelce was. And the touchdown. So he tied the team in targets, with 5. He had like the most amount of targets, tied with Rashid Rice. 3 for 31. But Collinsworth pointed this out. That touchdown pass to Bell, it was whoever the linebacker covered. It was 2 tight ends. And whoever the linebacker covered, he was going to throw to who he didn't cover. And he did not cover Bell. He covered Noah Gray. So not only did he lead the Chiefs in targets, he had a 50% chance at a touchdown. I'm totally okay with starting a dude like that.
Yeah. I mean, once he comes back, he's going to be irrelevant. So.
Oh no, you better monitor it. But like, if you're in a 14-man league, just start. I'd feel okay about Noah Gray. Even in a 12-man league, I feel like you're into some shitty tight end situation, and Kelce doesn't play next week against the Jaguars. I think you could start him.
Okay, yeah, it's him or Bell.
And then Jason, I think that Jared Goff had a pretty shitty game. How did you feel about Jared Goff?
This is when it was kind of pretty frustrating, right? Because I thought this was going to be a shootout, like in 2018, when last time these 2 quarterbacks faced each other, and it was more of a defensive game. And I think part of the reason why that was the case is because Kelce wasn't there. So the Chiefs weren't putting up 35 points, and the Lions weren't having to try to catch up and be pass happy. What did he get? Like 14 points? I think he got 14 points. 250 yards and a touchdown. It just looks like a normal like Jared Goff where he's just going to do a lot of play action. They're just going to run, play action to some wide receiver crossing over the middle. I actually still don't mind this. I got to keep thinking, it's also the first week. It's the first week of the season. Things are going to change over the next 17 weeks. We got to remember that last year they had one of the worst defenses in the league. So Jared Goff had to throw the ball.
There was a lot of garbage. There was a lot of garbage time last year, which I expected this year as well.
Right.
But their defense is better than everybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah, it looks like they've really improved on the defense side of the ball. So it looks like they might do a whole just defense and run the ball, run the crap out of the ball, like we saw yesterday.
Oh, man, Jason.
Huh.
Did I have all my stuff? Sky Moore. I do want to mention Sky Moore real fast.
Okay.
Sky Moore ran 31 routes and had 4 targets. That's terrible. The only pass he caught was negated by a penalty. And then Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore had combined 4 total yards on 10 combined targets and carries. So yeah, I'm sticking with Tony for a couple more weeks. Fuck Sky Moore. And then Jason, you're talking about Jared Goff. He even said he didn't have a good game. Banjo's going crazy right now. Sorry. And what you drafted him is I wanted to draft him and Anthony Richardson. I wanted to have him in a high end and like a high ceiling quarterback, something like that. So when you got him, this sucks that he didn't get like 300 yards or 2 touchdowns. But dude, the Chiefs actually played better defense than you thought they were going to play too. This was like a defensive game, and it was kind of crazy. So part of it was, nobody playing preseason. Once Jameson Williams comes back, Jason, I think that Jameson Williams is going to be like a trade target of mine because this fucking offensive line, dude, is insane. Like last night, they were just like bodying fools, man, like everywhere. So like Jameson Williams is in. When I watch, what's his name? Josh Reynolds leading targets almost right behind Amon Ra. I could see Jameson Williams getting like 7 targets a game, getting maybe 90 yards and a touchdown or something like that.
Yeah, he's definitely
I'm like
a deep
all
threat.
about Jameson Williams. Like if you could trade for him, I would. And then Jason, moving on, David Montgomery. I was watching this and I was like, dude, I even texted you. I was like, is David Montgomery slow as shit or like what's going on here? Like it would look like there's a huge hole, and then like he would hit it so slow, and it would just collapse on him. And he did that over and over and over again. Banjo.
Yeah.
And so like that was like super frustrating for me, even because then he put that one drive together, Jason, and got a touchdown.
One drive.
So I talked about how Dan Campbell said that he was not going to rush Jahmyr Gibbs in. It was on the Rich Eisen show. And but dude, 21 carries is a lot. He did not get any pass receptions. David Montgomery is outproducing his ADP right now. He looks like he was probably a good pick, even though I'd be so afraid of Gibbs taking over everything.
And I'm taking this in the other direction, where like, Dan Campbell, what's your dog was looking like up and then just like breathing weird. What's up there? What's up there? That's Jesus.
Don't go towards the light.
Yeah, so I'm seeing this as a different thing where it's like I didn't really think that he looked slower, but I did think he looked thinner. I was like, damn, wasn't he kind of more bulky in the Bears uniform? He did like, I think in the very beginning he had 2 runs in the first quarter that was actually pretty good, and then after that it was stuffed. And part of the reason why that one drive that he scored in was like so like important to his fantasy is because it didn't matter. They just kept giving him the ball. Take away that one touchdown. This guy had 70 yards and 3.5 average on 21 carries. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, damn, that's not really great on a Chiefs defense that doesn't have Chris Jones.
When you're supposed to run the ball well, like everybody runs the ball well against Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, you are always able to run the ball well against the Chiefs. You just normally had to give up running because you had to play catch up to the Chiefs. And then even with Jones gone, I was kind of thinking that he was going to have like a higher, yards per carry, but he didn't do that. I did say on my show that my episode that
your show, Jason.
On my
Bow down to the man. Maybe I should I'll shut up.
The Fantasy Jason show. I was saying like maybe not RB2, but because he's going to be like touchdown dependent, maybe like start him in the flex. And that was definitely shown last night that like if he didn't have that one touchdown that would have gave him like 13 points, he would have ended up with 7 because he also had no targets or no receptions. And now because Dan Campbell doesn't care about fantasy and he wanted to hold back Jahmyr Gibbs for some reason, who was looking way better than David Montgomery. When Jahmyr Gibbs gets more acclimated, I guess, more involved with the offense, he's going to be taking away more carries from David Montgomery.
I want to talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, Jason.
Okay.
I felt like the TV zoomed in on him every time it he accelerated. I was like, And then Chris Collins was like, man, you could feel the acceleration. I was like, yeah, fucking A, I can. Like, I have not felt that way about a player since Chris Johnson. And if you know, I think I drafted Chris Johnson his first year, and I traded him away like 3 weeks in. And I
to who?
What'd you say?
To who?
To Parker.
To me.
Did you? You bastard. I was like, I think for Aaron Rodgers or something.
I had Michael Turner and CJ or Chris Johnson that year, his rookie year. It was amazing. Yeah. Okay, go on. Sorry.
Dude.
I agree.
Okay. So I'm telling you right now, I'm going to put together some trades for Jahmyr Gibbs. Do I think he's going to outproduce his ADP? Maybe. But I don't know, dude. I just know he's different. Like, that shit is crazy. And I do want to say, where is this stat? Chris Johnson, Jason, 5'11", 203 pounds. 4.24 40-yard dash, which is fucking crazy. But then Jahmyr Gibbs, he is a little bit shorter at 5.59, but he's the same weight, 201 pounds. I went back and looked at Chris Johnson. I thought he was stockier. That fool is pretty skinny. Gibbs ran a 4.36, but they look like, dude, Gibbs looks so fast in pads. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody look faster. And I was like, last night, that was my biggest takeaway was like, holy shit, I'm trading for Gibbs. I'm going to trade for Gibbs. He got this is going to be his worst game, dude. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I think he got 6 fantasy points or some shit like that. So yeah, if you are out there and you're a Gibbs owner, hang on to Gibbs. If you're like me and want to trade for Gibbs, put together some stuff that looks attractive. Maybe you have a player that outperforms week 1. Use that to your advantage and try to get Gibbs.
He ended up getting 7 points yesterday. He had 2 receptions, 7 for 18 yards, and then 7 rushes for 42 yards. He averaged 6 yards a carry, Tyler, and I totally agree with you. Every time that guy touched the ball, there was get tensed up and be like, dude, there's a chance that he might just rush this for 70 yards right now for how fast he was. And he was juking people. And there was a time where he fell and did a 360, but he was able to help himself up and he ran for another 20 yards. This guy's going to be magical. I was kind of hoping that with the interview with Dan Campbell, that he's going to reserve him a little bit. I was hoping that was just a strategy that he was just throwing out there. Be like, if Andy Reid's listening, hopefully he doesn't plan for Jahmyr Gibbs because I said I'm barely going to play him and then actually play him because I don't really believe this guy wasn't hurt. I don't know why he should have been on account. The dude's 22 years old. He's going to wake up the next morning. He's going to be feeling fine. You don't got to worry about that. But
he absorbed so much. The thing I got from Reddit was holy shit, did he absorb that much contact at Alabama? And they're like, no, we didn't know that he had that. He was doing those half spins off of people. Mm-hmm. It was fucking crazy, dude. And there are going to be some long touchdowns from Jahmyr Gibbs. Plus, he has at least a top 5 offensive line, man. If I was a Gibbs owner, I mean, he got 27% snap of the snaps, and he got more than 50% of the rushing yards. I would totally get it, dude. He had 1 red zone touch. He tripped out of the backfield. That would have been a fucking touchdown.
I know.
Because I was like, oh my God, this guy did this crazy, he had space, and that dude in front of him was not going to touch him. And so, that sucked that he tripped over himself. So that was one of the most exciting things I got from this game, Jason, was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
And then also, Josh Reynolds, I think he is going to be on my waiver wire show, Jason. 4 receptions for 80 yards, 7 targets. You watched him. He was in there on trusted plays, dude, where where Goff had to avoid some contact, rifle it downfield. Reynolds was the dude catching that ball.
I mean, he was doing the exact same thing that Amon-Ra St. Brown was doing. I wrote in here that all of their catches, except Amon-Ra St. Brown, had 1 screen pass, crossing routes. Every single time it was a crossing route. Catch. Amon St. Brown's touchdown, crossing route. And the good thing is I think he still led in targets, Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
He had 9 targets.
Yeah, 9 targets. So he still led the team. So it looks like he's still the favorite. Josh Reynolds, right now with Jameson Williams coming back or on suspension, he looks like he could be a good plug and play, right? He looks like
No,
that somebody.
he is. No, I
Yeah,
would start him. I would if I was people, I would pick up either Jameson Williams if you've got a good wide receiver core. If you do not, and you're struggling at wide receiver, pick up Josh Reynolds to get you through week 6, and then worry about that shit later. So Josh Reynolds is going to be good for 70+ yards. Like I don't think this is. I think this is going to be an average game. I mean, this was a defensive game. So I think he will be second in targets on this amazing offense. I would totally want to start that in my flex, or maybe wide receiver 2 if you're really struggling in a 12-man league. And then Jason, I had this guy on my deeps tight end list. He was the only rookie tight end that I actually wanted to draft. Sam Laporta, 5 for 39. But if you watch the game, he was very important to the Lions. I think he ended up like with about the same amount of points as Noah Gray, which is kind of shitty. Maybe one more point. But if you didn't know better, you would have thought that he did pretty well last night.
yeah. He was the guy that I said don't start until we see more positive trends. I would say this is a positive trend. He got used more than I thought he was going to use. He got 5 targets. That's probably 4 more than I expected. Only 2 in the second half, which I don't like, and he had 2 in like the final 2 minutes of the first half. So I don't really like that much, but it still shows that even in situational football like that he's getting looked at, he's getting aimed at, he's getting targeted. This is, I think, a going in the right direction, a positive vibe to what's his name? Sam Laporta. I feel like this is, you gotta keep keeping an eye on this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, like when you watch him, I felt like he caught everything. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he caught every single target because I was so hypersensitive to Patrick Mahomes throwing to Foles that were dropping it. So again, our takeaway is the Lions' defense is for real. Their offensive line is amazing. Trade for Jahmyr Gibbs. Montgomery's going to be slightly better than we thought, but there is a chance that Gibbs takes over everything, dude. Like Gibbs is so fucking awesome, man. Like he's way better than I thought he was. He went from being my Frank Gore comparison to being my Chris Johnson comparison, Jason.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that Jared Goff also mentioned that he missed a like 70-yard touchdown to Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was crazy. They showed the replay. He was wide open. All he did was run straight. And he was wide open, but he was getting blitzed, and he threw the ball to Josh Reynolds instead. But if he just had a second to see it, you would have saw a 70-yard touchdown. Jared Goff kind of mentioned that in his interview too.
And I
So there
am
could
an
have been more points.
Yeah, dude. I am an Amon-Ra St. Brown owner. I'm very pleased with what I saw because that was a very poor performance from the Lions. But they, good teams find a way to win. They are turning into a good team, Jason. And
Yeah. Did you see? Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. What?
I was gonna say, did you see when David Montgomery got laid out by Nick Bolton?
All that shit. I thought David Montgomery was slow, except for like 2 plays, and he got laid out a lot. I was like waiting for that fool to I thought he had a concussion like 3 times.
Me too. When he got laid out, I was like, dude, there's no way they're gonna keep him in the game. They gotta bring in Gibbs. They still didn't. Whatever.
If Gibbs got like 10 carries, man. Oh my, jeez.
Yeah, he touched the ball 9 times. They drafted this guy as a 12th overall. Don't expect that for the rest of the season, right?
He looked the part, man. He looked so fucking good. It was crazy.
Exciting times for Detroit.
Yeah, so expect Jared Goff to do better in the future. And go into Patrick Mahomes and all the Chiefs. I'm throwing everything out except for Sky Moore's targets, performance, everything. Jarrett McKinnon as well. I am maybe dropping those 2. Okay, so I'm going to be dropping Jarrett McKinnon for Tank Bigsby probably next week. I'm going to be dropping Jarrett McKinnon because if that motherfucker didn't produce now, when is he going to produce, man? So like that, and Jarrett and Isaiah Pacheco getting that with Matt Nagy as the new offensive coordinator, and knowing that he had Kareem Hunt and all this shit, dude. I'm kind of out on Jarrett McKinnon. I might pay the price, but that's the way it is right now. Like that's what I see. And then also Sky Moore. I was already out on him, and now this just reinforces it, Jason. So that's pretty much. You can't take anything from that game as far as everybody else, but those 2 players in particular, that's what I'm out on.
I also want to say that the defense didn't sack Patrick Mahomes once, but they pressured him 8 times. Hold on one second. Where did I have this stat at? Oh, they had 6 quarterback hits on Patrick Mahomes, and Aiden Hutchinson had 3 of them. Aiden Hutchinson and a Juwan Taylor matchup was so fun to watch last game. But Aiden Hutchinson, that dude's a beast. That dude's going to get some sacks this year. Oh my gosh, he's going to be a difference. He's going to be a difference maker.
Hell yeah! All right, Jason. Real quick, I want you to go over your. I don't know if you have it in front of you, but do you know what you were right and wrong on your start and sit?
I thought Jared Goff was going to get more points than 14. I mean, you always want more out of your quarterback. 14 points is kind of like the 12th round, position where you're going to get a quarterback sometimes. Like that could be like a spot where they're going to land at. But I thought he was going to get more because I thought it was going to be a shootout. So I would say Jared Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs. I thought Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be a lot more involved. I thought Dane Campbell's interview was more a smokescreen than anything. But apparently not. And they held him out. And they didn't care when David Montgomery was rushing 3.5 yards. An awful yards per carry.
Is that it?
That's what I was wrong on. Yeah.
All right. So I had Patrick Mahomes as a play. I was like, you start Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't had an interception. He averages 300 yards a game. He gets three touchdowns in every opening game. And he fucked up bad, Jason. So anyways, probably not worth starting last night, but at least got you 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco. What'd you say?
How many points did he get?
I don't know. I mean, okay, but not what you wanted. And then Isaiah Pacheco. I put play on him. I thought that he was going to get like at least a rushing touchdown with Kelsey gone in the red zone. He did better than I thought he would because of the pass catching, but still, he did not get that many carries and everything else. He was not worth a play. I fucked up on that too, so that's 2. Jarrett McKinnon, I put a play because I literally said I guarantee 50 yards receptions and a touchdown. I got really happy when I saw him in the Wildcat on the end zone. I was like, here you go, dude. Tyler's right. Well, Tyler was wrong. I was wrong about all the Kansas City Chiefs offense. I did not think they were going to be so shitty without Kelsey. I did say pause on Tony. I was right about that. I put play on Sky Moore, Jason, just because I was like, I was thinking short passes and some gimmick plays were going to get him through. Well, that motherfucker wouldn't do shit. He couldn't catch shit. He couldn't do shit. That fool is not shit because he's a nice person, probably. And then I put pause on Rashee Rice, but I did say that he was going to be one of the people that I want to spend my fab on if he does well. He did okay. I do want him on my team. I'm not going to spend much on him. I'd probably spend like $10. He will be on my waiver wire show. And then Travis Kelce, I put play if he plays, and obviously that did not happen. So that's where we were right. That's where we were wrong. I do owe. What's up?
I was going to say what I was right at. I thought we were doing wrong and then right and right.
I would say, what are you right or wrong? Oh, sorry, Jason.
I'm on Ron St. Brown, but that was pretty easy. Even if I said no, you start him anyway. David Montgomery, I figured that he was going to be like touchdown dependent. He basically was. Start him as your flex. Got 13 points. And to also pause on Sam Laporta. And
I would have paused on Sam Laporta. Even though I believe in Sam Laporta, I would have paused on him first game as well.
Well, yeah, he's a rookie. He's a rookie tight end. They don't produce, so you got to wait until you see some positive trends. I will say that I did see a positive trend yesterday. He did better than I expected.
They are the Yoda species of the Star Wars universe. They do not hit their prime until much later.
Yeah, he's Grogu right now.
Oh! Anyways, that is the show. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully we earned a thumbs up. Hopefully we earned a subscription if you are not already subscribed. I was going to say something at the end of the show, but I can't fucking remember. So yeah, we're not going to go over all of our positive shit. We're going to go over our negative shit too, just so you understand that we are real people here. That is more than what we could say about other shows. Thank you very much. Tune in next for I think I might be having a live Sunday morning show. I can't remember if that's it, but I will be having a waiver show on Monday morning. So you know who to pick up. I already said 2 of them, Rashee Rice, and who else was the other one, Jason?
Josh Reynolds.
Josh Reynolds. Thank you so much. You're a very good listener. Jason, send them out.
Deuces. Sorry. I was caught off guard. I thought there was going to be more.